Unitary, federal, or confederal political systems. Different countries have different political systems that run their respective governments. These political systems range from federal to confederal to unitary political systems. In a unitary system, only one government is in control, and that is the central government. On the other hand, a confederate system is where smaller governments in terms of counties, provinces, and states yield more power than the central government. Interestingly, the United States was in the past a confederacy, although it later adopted a federal system. A federal system where the central and state government share power equally. In essence, the central government as stated in the American Constitution operates from Washington, D.C., while state governments operate from their respective headquarters. This system is the best so far for Americans, although it receives criticism at times. The possibility of Americans changing the federal system is next to nil, as many Americans term it as a symbol of American rights and freedoms. Each of the two governments has its performance roles clearly spelled out in the American Constitution. For example, the central government controls all trade policies and other significant interfaces between states. Moreover, the central government has the power to tax, enact and regulate the supply of money in all states. In this way, all states are subject to equal revenue from the government, thus, equal development initiation. Some states will cooperate to enact infringing laws and commission of crimes contrary to the Constitution. When this happens, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, conducts an investigation and enforces the law in all states. A federal system poses more advantages than disadvantages. For example, if citizens are at loggerheads with one party of the government, there are usually other channels to follow. Thus, a federal system creates mobilization in political systems. A multitude of government levels forms many alternatives for solving a particular crisis or apprehensions. If there were a political convention in the United States today, the federal system would retain. This is because a federal system is a representation of justice and equality to the American people. Diverse policies created by different states provide a platform for competitive development either culturally, politically, or socially. For example, in New Jersey, driving age is different from that of Montana. This is because, in New Jersey, the population is crammed full as compares to less crowded Montana. Different states have different concerns and new laws to enact. Therefore, it is the role of state governments to develop and address concerns regarding their states. Consequently, the needs and demands from citizens of a state become a reality through federal political systems. Another focal interest why the federal system should never undergo further constitutional convention is, of course, its protective measure from stakes. A federal system is a complicated political system. For a specific group to take over the reins of power to rule, not only will they govern through central government alone but also local and state governments. This is in itself cumbersome to achieve. Otherwise, a small group of people can enact legislation or equally, if they make a complaint, there is a higher probability that these two governments will address it. In conclusion, federal systems encourage creativity through testing. Single legislation from one of the 50 American states can apply in another state. On the other hand, if through state enactment laws of specific law fails, only one state suffers compared to confederate or unitary political systems, where every state suffers should single legislation fail. Even though power balance varies between state and central governments, the federal system is the cornerstone of the United States government. For example, state governments address matters like education, welfare and city planning programs, while the local government controls the quality of services offered. Hence, the federalist system is the best system for America as it provides equally shared responsibilities between local, state and national governments. Any constitutional convention will undermine the quality of services that these governments offer Americans. This report on unitary, federal, or confederal political systems was written and submitted by user Matthias Hansen to help you with your own studies. You are free to use it for research and reference purposes in order to write your own paper. However, you must cite it accordingly.